Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to explain to you why Russian military bloggers are actually a better, more reliable source in this very phase of the war during the Ukrainian counteroffensive than Ukrainian ones. That without me being a vatnik. In the past few days on a couple of videos, I received some very amusing comments. Some people were asking me how many rubles I get from Moscow. Another one said that it must really hurt me to report Ukrainian successes. Like I feel bad about that. And others were claiming that I conveniently forget Ukrainian successes. Um, Now, just to make it clear from the beginning, I'm not a neutral observer. Some claim, but clearly aren't, and I'm not, and I don't claim to. I'm I believe that Ukraine was invaded. It's an illegitimate invasion, an imperialistic invasion. Russia commits a ton of war crimes. Ukraine has every right to reconquer all of its territory, including Crimea, and the West should help it achieve that goal by increasing the deliveries of weapons than they have received in the past. But that doesn't mean I should not try to be objective and should not try to stick as much to the truth as possible. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you will not just watch this channel, but they will also watch other channels on YouTube. They will read some commentators on Facebook, on Twitter, or maybe on Telegram. Now, ask yourself, how many of you have heard that the Ukrainians have entered Klishivka and Robotine, and when have you heard that? The earliest reports I read was June 6th, when there were claims that the Ukrainians were already in Robotine. When did they enter it? Maybe 7 to 10 days ago for the first time? Basically, at the beginning of June, there were already claims that Ukrainians are in Klishivka. When have they entered it? 3 weeks ago, more or less. So how does that come? Where do these discrepancies come? Right now, Ukrainian sources are mostly unreliable because they increase successes and make their own failures smaller. The reason for that is either pure propaganda, because they are a government-run channel, a government spokesperson that wants to keep up morale and spread hope, or because they simply are too biased to accept meager successes in the current context. Right now, when it comes to territorial changes, I take only two things to judge them. First is image proof, simple as that. If the Russians shell a position, they probably don't shell it because they don't like their own soldiers there. They probably shell it because the Ukrainians are there. So we know the Ukrainians are in their position. When we see Ukrainian soldiers in a certain position, we know the Ukrainians have reached that. That doesn't mean they still hold it. They might have withdrawn. They might have been pushed back. They might have advanced further. But it shows us the Ukrainians have been there. And the second way to judge territorial changes is an admittance by the Russians. Now, it's easy to claim that Robotine is liberated. But if the big Russian military bloggers write, our forces had to withdraw from Robotine, the enemy holds Robotine now, then we do know it. Because the likelihood of the big Russian military bloggers claiming that they lost positions and insisting on it, not just 3 hours false reporting, but a day or two, without sticking to the fact, claiming bigger defeats than they actually suffered is laughably low. So this means when we either have image proof or when we have the Russians admit that they lost a position, it's the most secure way to judge that the Ukrainians have actually advanced to that point. Now, does that mean that I will be slow in some successes, that I won't report them just in time? Obviously, until the Russians start telegramming live whenever they lost a single foxhole. Now we are pushed 55 meters back. Now it's 60 meters. And until the Ukrainians put helmet cams on and live stream from there directly onto the internet, and until their battle tanks have webcams that are permanently online, it'll always take some time until the data is released. That might mean that I might report it later, but the difference is it will prevent me from posting fantasies just simply because I or you or anyone else might want to hear this. Now, this still doesn't mean that I might not make mistakes. I obviously do make them. I have done it in the past and I will do it in the future. But for me, it's a perfectly acceptable point to say, okay, I might be 1 or 2 days late with a success, but it's preferable to doing fantasy, because in the end, if they have been successful, when they have been successful, it comes out overall in the end anyways. We'll find out without any doubt, because we see it later. We see the image proof at some point. We see them having advanced further than what they currently were. That might not mean I'm up to the last meter on time, but it prevents mistakes from my times, and I rather be a little late than simply posing fantasies. I know that other commentators who do talk about the war do the exact same thing. I'm watching others doing the same work, probably some of them doing better work than me. The only difference I feel is that what they don't do is show you the picture, what Riba say, what Venkor does. They don't show it to you one after the other, making the impression that it's their only source, the only thing they ever use, which apparently was the impression lately by some. As said, in the current phase, it's the right thing to do. If the Russians are attacking, once the Russians are in an offensive again, their claims will be useless as well. If the Russians claim they captured a town, this is not the fact until they prove image proof, until we see the Ukrainians shelling it, or until maybe the Russian Ministry of Defense say they had to withdraw from there and the enemy has captured it. So this is basically a simple thing. I see others do it as well, but what they might not say is Riba said, Wenkor said, Wargonzo said. What they might do is military bloggers say, and sometimes Russian military bloggers say, but they basically do the same. I'll keep up to this. I could switch to simply starting claiming mill blogger said without showing you any proof of this, but I like my style. So I hope you like it too. I hope this helped to explain it. And yeah, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment what you think about this and how much of a vatnik I am while wanting Ukraine to win this war, simply because I use Russian sources during a Ukrainian counteroffensive. And if you're new here, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future videos. That's it from me for now. And this channel is only possible because of the support of viewers like you. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by the means in the description. Thank you very much to everyone already supporting this channel. And as said, that's it from me for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back.